Hello and welcome to the Aaron Resource Podcast. Today I thought it was important to take the podcast, the conversation, all the way back to the start. So I guess for me, when we talk about going back to the start, I'm just talking about spiritual stuff, I guess, or understanding that like a little bit more than just a physical body and, you know, this whole system that we're born into here. So basically what happened when I was younger, as a teenager, I met the numbers science guy from Harvard. He'd retired to Noosa and he was coming into my dad's cafe every day. And so he did a one-pager for me, and I went, OMG, this is for me. And obviously I was right, because I'm still doing it 34 years later. And on this journey, I guess from his numerology reading, the thing that stood out and the thing that I took from it first was negative characteristics. You know, I had all these, dignified, reserved, spiritual, all my positive, and then like the negative were sarcastic, dogmatic, doom and gloom, think the worst, because that's what, so we all have a positive and a negative side. And I went, you know what? I'm a very sarcastic person, but I thought it was okay because it was funny. But I didn't realise that it was a negative thing. You know what I mean? Still putting someone down. And now I teach people, if they say, if you want to be spiritual, I just say, is it loving? Is it done in a loving way? And I guess that wasn't. So anyway, that's the first thing I came up with. The first program I ever created, the first well-being, spiritual alternative to the mainstream business that I was going to serve, was a reprogramming of your subconscious mind. And back then that's all I knew. So in sarcasm, how am I going to change it? So I learnt all about reprogramming the subconscious mind. So, being aware of it, okay? Every time you do it, bringing your awareness to it is part of the process. And then you've got other things like rewriting over the top of it, repetition. Pretty much I scoured the internet and became the guru on reprogramming the subconscious mind, so the habits, the patterns. And that is an amazing thing just in itself, because obviously it bores me to tears now, because it was one of the first things I ever did. And I've sort of outgrown, or I've got better ways now, I guess. Like back then, it was all through repetition. Now I understand the system better, understand that there's a superconscious, unconscious, conscious and an unconscious mind. So there's 4 minds that you have to reprogram. And so therefore, any of these habitual patterns are a lot easier to do these days. A lot, and they will be easier as frequency increases, I guess. So that's where it started for me, was helping people. And obviously I was honing my skill with numerology. So Mark, basically I begged and begged, he didn't want to teach me at all, anything. So he said, I'm going to teach you the energy in numbers. And so that was a multi-dimensional, metaphysical, quantum rabbit hole that we went duck diving down together. And some of these holes did not have a bottom, meaning there was no ceiling, there was no, and learning about the energy in numbers, it still relates today through absolutely everything. And it's a fascinating lesson, and I do share it in a workshop setting, but it's it's more than, it's multi-dimensional, so it's not good in this two-dimensional space. Even though, this is two, remember we've got three, we've got the third language also happening. There's messages coming to you, healings coming to you through intention and belief from something you don't even know about when you're listening to these things and sharing these things and activating these things within your DNA, which I guess you could say something that you don't know is that you are like a time capsule, okay? There's nothing that is going to come along in this world, in this life, and is going to put something into you, okay? It sounds a little bit backwards, doesn't it? So your DNA is already there, and we know that, the greatest medical mind, greatest minds on the earth have, through the Human Genome Project, have basically told us they only know what about 3.5% is doing. And so I'm going to tell you and fill in the gaps that that there lies, something that provides modifiers to the 3.5% so it can do its job. It's not in any pattern or symmetry. It's in a different multi-dimensional form, which we don't see yet. We don't have the tools to see yet, and so it's all there. The Earth's frequency is increasing, your body's frequency is increasing, you're rising in consciousness, you live on 3 planes of body, mind and spirit. We're just in our infancy, and so and it all started with this subconscious reprogramming. And so if I throw a pen at you right now, your hand would just ping out and catch it, and that is a subconscious reaction. So these are things that you've done so many times that it's like almost got what's called muscle memory, and it's an automatic response now. And so when us humans get, say, to a certain age, it's different for everyone, but it's easy to generalise. What happens is, especially us comfortable, not boring, but yes, boring, non-risk-taking, fearful people, which is more than half the population, all right? That if you're over the age of, say, 35, and you've got a couple of young kids, chances are you're running on like 85% subconscious automatic reactions. You're just going about your days. That's how the subconscious works as well, okay? It's multi-dimensional, multi-layered as well. So there's different inputs. There's your subconscious, basically, it's like if you had things that you do all the time, if you just had them on a loop, so you didn't have to consciously use the energy to bring your awareness to something to be able to do it again. You know what I mean? Because it's so automatic. It's so well known. So your subconscious, you're basically going out and doing life running on autopilot. And that's not good for growth, because it's, when you're talking about physics, right, the physics, maths, universal maths, we're talking about something that has an equation that always adds up. Does that make sense? So right now we have many more things that don't add up in life, more things we don't know how to do, don't know how it works, don't know what we're part of, don't know how to fix, don't know how to create. They're all out there. We just don't know, or we haven't reached a level, I guess, of consciousness, because it's not intelligence, right? You don't have to be anyone that's gone to any university or have any form of track record in real life, in any field. Any human being can rise and learn more in personal growth, right? Because that's all it is, really. Consciousness is just personal growth, right? Because when you get to a certain stage with personal growth, say with me, I'm just poor, and like I was learning, and I stopped. I went, geez, I don't want to learn too much. I'm going to blow up, what happens to people that just know it all? And then I went, don't be stupid. I had fear, and I fucked the fear off. And then I dived in and I learned everything and kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going. When you get to a point and you're sick and you've got a disease, and the only way you can fix it is you know what causes it. And what doctors have is 8,000 separate studies, and they're doing a really bad job at health. And so you can't get the answer there. And that's where most people stop, right? Some people go online, look for some alternative stuff, what's people doing. People love getting on it. But because you're used to going to a doctor and getting a pill, when the answer comes in the form of a lifestyle change, you don't think it's possible, or you don't want to do it. It's too hard. You have to give up things you're addicted to. You're part of a comfortable life where change is traumatic. And so basically, besides having a pretty average life, there is a lot more out there. It's limitless. It's like your health. Everything's dumbed down. Everything's a lesser version, from your immune, your DNA efficacy. Every single thing about you is just this lessened version of a human being. Lesser experiences, more fear. It's like an equilibrium. It's like you've been kept out of balance to be able to fully take advantage of being in control. Because that's all it is, really, right? When you're in control of your health, you can't get cancer like me. It's impossible, right? And if by chance I become a numbnuts and I let it in through, doing seminars, talks on it, getting it into my head, being absolutely not mindful of what I'm doing, and I got cancer, then I'm the only person on earth that knows how to cure it. Cure the incurable. So I've got the best of both worlds, really. Do you know what I mean? So really, to be in control of your health, there is nothing I could face barring an emergency. Obviously, that's different, right? An accident, sort of emergency medicine. But I'm saying, as far as diseases go, I've got a handle on it. Know what causes them, know how to do it, know the system I'm working with. It goes across body, mind, soul. So I've trumped every single professor, medical mind, doctor, scientist, researcher. I've completely trumped all of them because I've got information that they don't have. I have a full picture. Do you understand? I understand the system, how it works, mentally, frequencies, impressing, what happens, intuition, innate, bridges, communication, instruction sets, practical spirituality, getting communication both ways, things that no doctor could get because they've only been dealing with the 33.3%, which is the physical body, for their whole lives. But also they've been indoctrinated into a system that has brainwashed them all to look in the box for a solution that is outside of the box. So there is a million cancer specialists looking for the solution to cancer in this box. And the answer that I've found is not in that box. What a terrible game to play for humanity, because someone hasn't stopped and thought, hey, this has got a little bit too far. We now have a huge amount of conditioning, and the subconscious, that muscle memory, even when it's a bad lifestyle or whereas it's a bad choice, even if it's an average choice, to meet your true self, which you will absolutely love when you meet them, but I am certain that none of you have met or know because you have to be completely and utterly broken into pieces and piece by piece put yourself back together and transmute all negative conditioning, including trauma, fears, wounds, insecurities, and clearing them is a process. One time, just to clear some stuff, I took 5 months on a deserted beach every day for 5 months, sitting in the most uncomfortable pain, slow, uncomfortable stuff that no one wants to be around, no one wants to face, no one wants to do. But I'm glad I went through it, and I came through the other side, and now I get reintroduced with me. So I'm now not a product of my environment. Got rid of habits, addictions, another one, right? If you're addicted to something, if you have to have something every day, you can't live without it for a day, you're addicted to it, that addiction then voids your free will, right? We live on a planet of free will, which is duality. So you get to make choices, and those two choices go to different places. And so if you are addicted to something, that overrides your ability to make a free choice. And so I also know that while we live on the only planet of free choice, not many of you have any free choice whatsoever. So you are all slaves to a system and you can't even see it. I feel so sorry for you all. And don't ever come at me, because I've been trying to tell you all for 7 years. Yeah? While you're going and doing your one job and being selfish and going down and, going out for dinner and going to restaurants and playing the pokies and going on annual holidays and all this, I've been spending all my time, all of my money, being the crazy guy trying to get this information to you so that you don't have to suffer, so that you don't have to be in pain. Have you seen people with very late stages of cancer going through treatment which kills even more? It's not a very nice thing. I've seen families go through it. I've never been through it. I've only helped those people in 2019. So it's terrible. And so I'm giving it away. Risk-free, natural, complimentary. I get nothing for it. I don't want anything for it. And it still can't break through, because that's what the world's come to, right? The world's come to such a untrusting, fragmented, unsure, really fucked up, that some genuine, down-to-earth person has healed himself of an incurable disease, and 7 years later, none of you want to know it. None. That tells me way more about all of you than it does about me, right? All my podcasts, all my every single bit of content, right, which I didn't have any of because I'm not an influencer, I'm not a content maker, I'm just an average guy who had a very traumatic life. I went through the darkness and I came through on the other side in one piece to be able to bring you the greatest discovery on earth, and the earth inhabitants are completely brainwashed and oblivious and have got a whole other game going on, which means they can't see the value in the most amazing thing that's ever happened on this planet. I'm sure with hindsight it's going to be looked back on and go, what? 7 years, surely. But, go back in our history. It's happened a lot. It's happened a lot. It's crazy, isn't it? Huh? Anyway, I wanted to get on and talk to you about subconscious reprogramming from the start. Human conditioning, because when Mark Gruner, the numerologist, did do my chart back in the start, he said, Aaron, but here's your chart. But I want you to remember something. You live on a planet of free choice. If you don't like what I say, change it. You can change anything. I went, cool. And he said the other thing, if you look at it and you read it and you're going, nah, that doesn't sound like me, like a little bit, here and there or whatever. He goes, then these are energy in numbers. And he's later explained it to me, but that as an influence gives you certain characteristics, core characteristics, I guess, core. And I guess they don't sway much from that core, because that core can then go on to mean a lot of influence, or mean a lot of other things. Anyway, so he said to me, keep in mind that you might have a resonance and a connection to it, but not be fit that mold at the moment. And he said, that's because you need to remember that we've got human conditioning from our parents, our teachers, our peers. We are affected and believe things from people that we're trusted, or from our trusted news source. And he said, there is no difference from me telling you that you came from a planet of apple pies who decided they wanted to have pies that could move around without having to be assisted. So they wanted to grow arms and legs. He said, there is no more truth in what you've been told at school to what I just told you right there and then. You have no proof of either. Nothing whatsoever. But we're a trusting lot. We're an extremely trusting lot of humans here on the earth. And so therefore we just bank it. We go, yeah, all right, that's cool. Yeah, Mum taught me that. Oh, no, they told me that. And we've got this history of like a couple of thousand years that we're teaching in schools, which even anthropologists, what was the book they wrote? The End of Variety. A time, I think it was 100,000 years ago or 76,000 years ago or something, there was 17 different types of mammals, humans walking the earth. Like now, there's lots of different varieties of chimp. There was lots of humans. Then all of a sudden, they all died out except for one, and that's us. 76,000 years. Why isn't that part of history in school? Huh? Think about that, and now think about the history that you learnt at school. Oh no, you were just spoon-fed a doctrine. You were just spoon-fed a whole history in a box, in a package. You questioned none of it. You didn't think about any of it. You didn't challenge. It wasn't part of the debating team. It was history. History's there to be what? That's history. What? Can't change history. We can, because we've been sold the wrong one. And it comes with a medical industry that is synthetic. Why do you think a protocol that cures, heals permanently 80% of all incurable diseases on the planet, and it's all natural? Do you think that is a coincidence? Or that seriously, I should have just dropped the fucking mic right there. There is nothing more to say. A protocol, 14-day protocol that cured my incurable disease back in 2018, that's all natural, organic, no chemicals, completely natural. Natural, no medicine, nothing else, food, cured an incurable disease. why would a human body react so positively to nothing but nature? Seriously, if people hear that and it doesn't go viral, what the fuck is wrong with the world? Seriously. If one person hears that and doesn't send it viral, then I'm sorry. Do you know what? Then it's your fault. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Come on. What more do you want? Seriously. Unbelievable. Anyway, unbelievable. But anyway, I just want to say I'm having a great time. Starting to get warmer. It's been a long winter, even though I'm in the tropics. But it's getting warmer. So, I might even go for a walk along the beach. I've got my own beach every night. It's the most amazing beach. It's beautiful. And there's no one ever there. And I just sit there. I've been going to this same beach 3 years now. And every time I go out there and I go to think, and I just the same thing every time and laugh to myself, and I say some of the best moments, and I'm just here and there's no one else to share it with. There's two perspectives. One, I wish I had someone there to share these beautiful moments with. Down on the beach at night, you know what I mean? Like, it's cool. And two, wow, these moments, and I'm here enjoying it. Where's everyone else? Do you know what I mean? You don't even see random people coming down every now and then and going down the beach late at night. They're probably scared. Even in summer. You know, I've been here all through summer and stuff. And while on the weekends, sometimes there's a few groups and bits and pieces. But, yeah. Anyway, that's our little podcast for today on subconscious reprogramming. Just wanted to take you back. It was back in a time, and then after that, the next phase, right, because there's been probably about 20 stepping stones to now. The next one after that was called a thing called Barley Green and Foodicine. This is in the 90s, mind you, right? So this guy comes to me and goes, mate, I love your energy. I'm bringing this stuff in the country called Barley Green. If you have a teaspoon, 3 teaspoons of this in your juice every morning, after 1 month, it's quadrupling white blood cells. Alongside, obviously, a certain lifestyle and stuff. So I then got the certain lifestyle and added Foodicine to it. So what happened was, because of the barley green, we had to do research and development, right? And so we were talking to cancer people, and they were going in for treatment back in the 90s, so chemo, radiation, right? And when they come out, they get surveyed, right? And they go, oh, how do you feel? And no jokes, none of them are more than a 2 out of 10, especially with chemo, right? It just kills cells, bottoms you out, chemo brain, like you talking about brain fog, you fucking forget everything. It's almost like having dementia. And it is, it's like, periods. Anyway, there's lots of negative, dark things going on, so no one feels good. So back in the 90s, I created a diet rich to boost the immune system. The 3 people that tried it had chemotherapy, came out and said they feel an 8. So by simply getting someone juiced up, smoothied up, natural, organic, no processed foods. Instead of having 50% meat and 50% veg, just having 20% meat. And basically, game changer, just that alone, right? So those two in combination were having unbelievable results. And then the barley green got canned. No more export. Import. Yeah, import. Got banned on the list from being imported into the country. And I went and got a restaurant in Port Douglas anyway, up on top of the hills. So and then that got put on, hold for a while. But all these years from the 90s all the way through to now, because back then there was no social media, right? So there was a lot of word of mouth. There was a lot of, healthy movements, I guess, as such. Now, because I do a lot of testing and experimenting myself, if I go online now, right, and I go to cancer remedies support group, right? There's hundreds of them, right? And someone goes, I've just been diagnosed with lung cancer, stage 3, right? And so this is the standard issue across most groups. And I'll tell you the other type of groups as well. Which the first one, someone comes up and goes, ivermectin and fendibol or whatever it is, right? Just 2 words. That's it, right? Not, I've tried this and da-da-da, so you don't know what the fuck's going on. Then you get the Kenyan lady comes and goes, Dr. Afari Marari from Dingo will fix you all cancer, give you herbal cleanse, da-da-da-da, right? Spammed on everyone. And so then you get a genuine person comes on and goes, I had that, just same diagnosis, and I'm, pulled through. And so you get this big mix match of about 30 to 40 options outside of your doctor, right? Tell me that's not confusing, right? How come people can't see that? How come you people can't see that is the fucking worst, fucking most heinous thing for your cancer? And you're all there just going, failing and all this fragmented shit. Like, what the fuck is going on with the world? Why can I see it? Why can't anyone else see it? Am I in a fucking parallel universe or something? Or am I not fucking here? Really, really interesting. Anyway, each to their own. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, I've got to go. See ya. Bye.